Today we're live from Pelican Hill, a beautiful resort in Southern California, hosting the Milwaukee Bucks training camp. Today we're gonna get to sit down with a player that I've had plenty of battles with. Lillard. Prolific, dynamic scorer, one of the hardest players I've ever had to guard. An 8-time All-Star, a 7-time All-NBA, and a top 75 player of all time. I don't know a player before you who played like this.
Damian Lillard.
I'm usually on my time, but today, we're on Dame time. To pull this type of shot, 5 feet off a sidestep.
It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard.
We're about to go interview Damian Lillard. Let's get it, I'm excited. Let's tap into young Dame, man. Who we got right here?
That's crazy.
Who we got
That's
right here?
actually at Disneyland. That's here. That's
Really?
Right here, yeah. That's me and my older brother, Hugh.
And I can already see you got the jerseys on. Y'all already hoopers from
Long time.
long time.
My brother was a hooper. You see, he got a Pistons jersey on. I got an Old Navy jersey on, man.
Is your brother the person who put the ball in your hands?
Yeah.
So
my
that's
brother
what
was a
got
hooper.
you. He was.
He was a hooper. And, you know, front yard, do a reverse layup. I do a reverse layup. Do a 360 layup, you know. So.
Yeah, no, I got the same. My brother, obviously, people know my pops was basketball and all that, but the person that really turned me on to basketball, where I saw someone work out every day, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And like, I started following suit, was my older brother.
You know what I'm saying?
And the influence on you.
Yep.
Look at this, man.
That's crazy. Hey, y'all really out of pocket for
Yeah, no, bro. Look at the photo. You got the earring. What's this?
That's my mom. The Jordan fake chain, fake earrings.
You know what's crazy is the ironic part about it is you could probably wear the fake stuff now.
And people would just think it's real.
Would assume it's real. Probably save you some money. We got the, what's that, Sean John? We got the open, that's when the open tee. You remember you had to have the undershirt under the polo to show it?
Man. I'm a mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love my mom to death to this day.
Love that.
My mom lived with me like my first 4 years in the league. And then the crazy thing about this picture, this is my sophomore year in high school. I didn't even play that year. I was on the bench the whole year.
Varsity?
Yep.
Wow.
I was on the bench the whole
Bro, look how
year.
young you look in this photo too, man. This is pre Dame Dollar, man.
For sure.
You got the Oakland AAU program?
No, that's my high school.
That's your high school.
Yeah. That's my senior year.
This is your senior year.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy to me is I'm going through your stuff, right? We're setting this thing up. I'm going through footage, you know, I'm looking at stats. I'm looking at all these different things, bro. And I come across this clip right here, man. And I'm watching this video, bro. You been had the clutch gene. This goes back even to high school. The way you walk him down right here, look how you walk it angry with the ball, like crazy. And it's a foul, low key. You could have
That
fouled.
should have been game, for real. Cash.
Look at this. Look at this. Had the gym.
That's funny, bro. We lost this game.
Overtime.
It didn't go to overtime. So after this shot ties the game up.
It's deep too, man.
Yeah, that was a deep one.
Especially for high school. I mean, you pulling that 4 or 5 feet behind the line.
I tied the game up. They came down and missed. I got it. I pushed it full court. I get fouled. Me and 2 defenders fall on the ground. One of my best friends pick it up underneath the basket and smoke the layup.
Oh, no.
Like, he's literally standing under. He missed the layup. They get the rebound, call timeout. They throw a full court, make another pass, hit a 3 at the buzzer.
That's some high school. That's how it goes, man.
That's how that game ended at our school. And they won state that year, undefeated.
Oh, wow. So
they went undefeated in one state.
Oh, man. Yeah. Was this a home court game?
It's a home.
I could tell by the crowd reaction.
Little Wildcat on the wall.
Wow.
And our games was at 3. We played at 3:45.
Did you grow up in tune with like the hoopers that came out of like just, you know, Oakland in general? You know, you got GP, you got Kid, Brian Shaw. Yeah. Like there's some valid point guards that have come out of the area. Are these guys that you tapped into early, or you didn't really get tapped into them until late? Like, I mean, the league type.
When you from Oakland, you know the history of Oakland.
Yep.
So like, you know, at this time, this was like a couple years after Marshawn was in high school too. So like everybody was on Marshawn. Like he going to the league, you know. But GP, B. Shaw, J. Kidd, like all of them, they staples. Everybody recognized them. You on the freeway, you can see where B. Shaw house was, like in the Oakland Hills. Everybody see his house. So you definitely knew who they was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody was on board. Everybody lying, saying that's their cousin and that's their family. You know how it goes. So
Who's your favorite hooper out of the Bay? Or out of Oakland? You gotta be careful.
my favorite hooper out of Oakland is this dude. He never made it, but his name is Paul Marigny. And he went to Oakland High School. He went to Castlemont High School, and he ended up going to St. Mary's College.
Okay.
And had a couple of knee injuries, but
That was your guy.
that was my guy.
Yeah, I have. You know who Darius Washington is?
Yeah, I know Darius Washington.
That
Went to Memphis and missed the free throws.
Oh, see, that's crazy. I hate
high
that
school,
he's known for that, though.
In
Bro.
high school,
I hate
he was
it,
cold,
man.
though. Like,
Man, he's a bad
He was
man.
that guy.
That was our telefair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, growing up, D. Wash was like the first dude I saw, like, oh, that's what a pro looks like in high school.
I remember.
Yeah, but it's
I
crazy when you
remember.
say that name now. People go
That's what you
straight to
think
the,
of.
to the free throws. Trust me, man. The whole city was watching that game, man.
I know that hurt him.
It still talks about to this day.
Like, that hurt him, like, personally.
Oh, it
just like-
did. To go to the tournament,
Yeah.
you know, those are moments that you don't forget. So this is what is most interesting for me with you is your college. You know, we talk about Weber State. You weren't a guy that was like a top 10 player.
Yeah.
You know, you were overlooked. I think that's a big part of your persona is having that chip on your shoulder. You still walk around with it, you know what I mean, which is incredible considering your resume now. But at one point in time, you know, was this the place that you felt really gave you that full opportunity to be, you know, who you are? You know, I walk around, I see the clips of you playing, you know, the colleges I've never even heard of, dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, I remember like it was yesterday when they said, I'm coming out of Duke, man. I'm thinking I'm top 5, top 6 pick,
Right.
you know, whatever. They're going off the top 10. And I see like Damian Lillard on there. I'm like, man, what the fuck is this dude, man? I'm like,
You and a lot of people.
Yeah, and I was like, well, this guy can't be that good. Then we start seeing the workout videos, and we start putting stuff together. I'm like, you know, all right, you know, and then fast forward, everything makes sense. But
Right.
how did you feel about going to this place? Did you really feel like when you were here, you were still destined for the league? Was that still in your main?
Yeah, I mean, when I got there, obviously, like this dude right here, the closest one, Phil Beckner, he's my trainer to this day. Like
That's Phil.
That's Phil, right?
So I've heard stories about Phil. I heard he's an interesting dude.
He is. See,
Okay.
Phil has probably got a reputation for being crazy,
Yeah.
but I know him. I know who he is for real. I agree. He is, you know, he's an interesting dude.
Yeah.
But like I've been knowing him since I was 17, so I know what his intentions are. You know, I know that no matter how he has to do it or how he has to look to do it, he's gonna try to get the best out of you.
Yep.
And I think that was my experience with him. So when I got there and I was like, I could have went to a better school than Weber
Right.
State. Like I should be playing. Like I know I'm about to come take over. But he was like the one that told me, like, you know, you ain't that good. You know, you can't shoot off screens. All you do is
Really?
go left. You ain't strong enough. You know, you ain't, like, he just kind of was just picking at my game, everything. And then the rest of the staff, they was more like, you don't go to class, like you going home. You late for class, you running, you know? So even though I was the most talented player they had recruited, like it was no nonsense. Like
What makes you drawn to that? Because I've seen the Goggin videos of you this summer. Like it seems like you tap into people who have that mental, like you want to be pushed.
Yeah, I gotta be around, like every environment that I've grown up in or been in has always had like some edge. Or like, you know, you gotta be able to follow instructions and you gotta be able to be part of the team. And like this program, honestly, like my training and me working out and who I am as a person and all of that, obviously that's a big part of it. But being a part of a program, it was like, that's what really gave me a chance to make it to the league and do well in the league. Because here is where I learned how to like lead a team.
Right.
And I learned how to like be an example and give myself up. Because that was what was required.
Right.
You know, it was, going to class wasn't optional. It was like, not only do you need to be at every class, if you're late, you're running.
Wow.
So I was in school 4 years, I never missed a class.
See, and that's something that will go over people's heads because to the, you know, random person out here who's going to be watching this, I don't think they understand how it works for student athletes, especially at big time programs. Most of these guys ain't going to classes. You ain't going to a lot of them. You're there to play basketball, one and done.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw yourself to a team. You don't have to be a leader. You know, you go in there with your preset agenda. I'm here for 6 months. I need to be a high top pick. You know, this is kind of how it works.
Yeah.
I do feel like some of these small colleges build some of the best or most ready professionals because you guys go through all these different things.
Yeah, it's a standard. And, you know, when you go to a school like this, I didn't come in here like as an NBA player. I came in here, it was like, we got a talented high school kid. I came off the bench when I first got there. Like my freshman year, my first 9 games probably, I came off the bench.
Wow.
And I wasn't finishing games either. So it was like, it took time, but they showed me the way.
You're right.
So like when I got to the NBA, I never, even when I started to have success, I never felt like I didn't have to do what the team was doing. Or I didn't have to, you know, if they say, oh, it's not mandatory, and I'm leading the league in minutes, I'm like, I still got to go, you know? So it was, honestly, this program is what I think separated me.
Yeah, because you were, you know, I'm watching the footage. I don't think I've ever seen more footage of Weber State in my life, man. I'm going through this stuff, watching the clips of you play, and your game style is still very similar, though.
Same.
You know what I mean? That, now knowing that Phil was there, it makes sense.
Yeah.
He's still your trainer. You're big on loyalty. I mean, there's a reason why you were with Portland for so long. You could have left at any time, asked for a trade at any time. To hear that you still have Phil now. And now he works with a whole bunch of guys. Anthony, I know he's a kid from my city. He's always talking about going out to Phoenix, and I'm always like, you're going to work with Phil. Was he big in like your range? I mean, like where did you get that from in terms of like, was that something you worked at Weber where you guys were shooting 4 or 5 feet behind the line?
When I was a kid, I could always shoot deep.
Oh, so that's been a thing.
It's always
We saw the high school footage. You pulled that from like half
like
almost.
I've always been able to shoot from far. Like I don't know what it is really, but I've always been able to shoot from far. I think Phil just made it a more consistent shot for me.
Look at this footage. This is how you know you at this is a small D1 school. I mean, we on a damn
Blurry.
blurry camera, and I don't even know who scored that.
Yeah, that was me. You know what I'm saying?
Just LMU?
Nah, that's LMU. This was my last college game.
Look at down screen. You're coming off yo, I don't think I've ever seen you come off a down screen before in my life.
I did a lot in college that I haven't done as much of in the league. I think I hit a big 3 at the end of this game.
Oh, this might be it right here. Or no.
We down 6 right now.
Smooth. Left hand, man. People who, you know, your first step, I always tell people, is one of the most underrated first steps in basketball. That's all I ever had was like my first step. And I had trouble when you went left, man. When you do that little stutter step left, it's hard because you had the same move with a pull up.
Yep.
So I don't ever know if you go for a 3 or if you're driving, man. So it's the hardest thing and you do a great job of putting your body into players to where if they do cut you off, you either gonna get that foul. That one right there, that little that hezzy going left, man. It's impossible to guard.
Yeah, when I was playing against these schools, looking back at it, man, I ain't had no respect for them.
Right.
Because I knew what other people thought of the school, you know? I knew what.
So you were aware of that. You knew where you were at.
Yeah.
Then let me ask you this then. Who was the player that you played against at this level where you felt like, I've been seen? Like, when did you feel seen? Because you're at a college, right, that's not on ESPN. You know, you're not on people's pre-poll, preseason, you know, top Naismith list. You know, these aren't things that you being a part of, right? How did you, or when did you feel seen, and when did you go against somebody where you're like, oh, I could play against these dudes? Like, did you play against a pro where you're like, I'm just as good as this guy?
I remember after my sophomore year in college, I got invited to Adidas Nations in Chicago. And when I got there, it was like all the NBA players that was with Adidas was playing against us in camp. It was D. Rose, Eric Gordon.
Oh, wow. These Adidas.
Corey Brewer, Joakim Noah, Drew Holiday, Nolan Smith. Like, it was all these dudes that was in the league, but they were signed to Adidas playing. And I just remember playing against them. And, you know, they was like sagging off me. I hit a couple threes. Then I came down the lane one time at camp, and like, it was like Joakim Noah, like he just didn't come over. He was just kind of waiting, and I took off and I dunked it, and he like tried to come late. He didn't really try to block it, but he thought he'd be able to just come late and get it. And I just remember thinking like, man, I could for sure play.
Yeah, you can play with these dudes, especially playing against D-Rose, Eric. Shout out to Adidas one time.
Yeah, they had all them dudes there. And then I remember I came back for my last year. We played at St. Mary's, and they had Delhi. They had Dellavedova. And everybody was like, yeah, he an NBA player, and they was just talking highly of him. And Patty Mills had just left from there too. So when I played him, I think I had like 40. Like I was just killing him. And after that, I was like, if they saying he a first round pick, I'm for sure.
Yeah. That's what builds your confidence. I felt like that. I felt like your teammate, CJ. We played him in the tournament. He went for 30, and after that, CJ was like
top 10.
Yeah, man. We played some team with brown jerseys, dog. We out there like, man, we about to smoke this team. This is my last game in college, by the way, thanks to him. He come out there and scored 34, man. I'm like, who the hell is this dude?
Brown jerseys.
Brown jerseys, bro. With a bunch of dudes that, they work in the offices now, man. You guys got it done. We fast forward to the draft. So you've done your thing. Yep. You balled out. Now your name's about to get called. I wasn't even aware. I'm sitting here. They talking about Damian Lillard going 5, 6. Do you ever even look at that draft class and see the guys that were drafted ahead of you?
No. Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
You got the fresh suit. Look, you got tears in your eyes right here.
Yeah.
We're one of the last people, I think we might have been, who shook Stern's hand that year, because I think Adam took over maybe a year or two later.
I think the year after the next year.
Did you pick the fit or stylist?
No, I picked that.
Okay. We got the clean.
Everybody thought I knew I was going to Portland. Them fits was crazy back then.
The red socks. It looks good though. I mean, we got the little got the rose handkerchief. Yeah, it does look like you you're going to Portland. Did you have any? Did you care where you were going?
I wanted to go to Portland.
Oh, so this is where you wanted to go?
Yeah. Because I knew they didn't have a point guard.
You didn't have a point guard.
It's close to home. I mean, I played in Portland in college a lot, so.
Yeah, Sager loved it. That's some Sager type energy right there.
No, right? He was rocking with that.
The Red Sox, and we get to summer league, man. You're a guy. We actually played our first games versus each other.
I remember.
I was pumped. People don't know I had a bone spur. I was supposed to have surgery, but I decided not to. And I remember going to
killed you if you didn't play.
Yeah, they would. They were
like, he didn't want to play against them.
That's exactly what they were going to say. So because I shut it down after that. I played one game, I was done. Yeah. And I remember I went against that game. The first possession, I hit the 3. I'm like, okay, we on, man. We on him. Yeah. It changed a little bit after that. It started to become your show.
Yeah.
What was your mindset going into summer league? I mean, at this point, you were a top pick, so you go from being an underdog to being a guy that now everybody's looking at being the best player in the team.
I mean, I just knew that people wanted to see what I was going to do against this competition. What's crazy is even that game, I think I started the first half like 1 for 10.
Yeah.
I was like 1 for 10.
I remember you started getting going the second half.
And then I remember I was walking through the tunnel. My agent was like, "Come on, man! Like, people gonna be worried about you." Like
he said something to you at your first game.
Yeah, because I was 1 for 10. He was like, "Man, people like you gotta come on." And I remember I was walking through it, and I looked at him, and I was just like,
"Yeah, relax."
I just did like this, and my mom and my dad was there too, because it was my birthday.
Oh, okay.
It was my birthday that day, so I kind of look over at my dad, and my dad was just like he just was nodding, like,
yeah.
So what? Like, keep going.
Yeah.
So we came out in the second half. I got rolling. I was like, I always think, no matter how the game is going, like, it's about to turn around.
Yeah, we had clips of you frying, but I cut them. I ain't trying to see that shit, man. This is my show. We not about to come on here and watch you. We had like 20 in the second half.
Yeah.
And then this is. I mean, I don't even know if the basketball gods wrote this.
Yeah.
Debut game, first game of the season.
Yeah.
You going against Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers, man. Yeah. And you don't just perform, my brother. You go crazy. You had 23, 25, and like 10. You had a double-double.
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't rookie plays, bro. I mean, I remember watching this because I'm comparing myself to you, Brad, Dion.
Right.
These are the guys. I watched all y'all's games. I didn't have this.
The debut.
Yeah, and I didn't have this. I'll be honest, man. Like you had a patience about you. You play like you've been in the NBA for 4 or 5 years. Is that something just from college, you think?
I think it's from college.
See, even that pass, like that's not something like that's. Most guys might not thread the needle like that. They're scared of a turnover. You play with a freedom. That you have confidence, man. You can't teach some of these things.
Like I said, being there 4 years, it's the teaching. Like I watched a lot of film. Like I don't think if you go to school 1 year, like it's hard to have that type of progression. Like we started watching film, like all my clips, and then we would watch Tony Parker and Darren Williams and Chris Paul, and we would watch what they did, you know, like all of that stuff. So then our sets started to look like NBA sets. I started playing more out of pick and roll. So it was like my progressions and my reads for all that stuff it was happening faster and faster. So when I got to the league and I was more space out there, better players, like it was just easier.
You talk about pressure. You playing the Lakers, first game. Are you dreaming the night before, like you going against Kobe, like you getting a switch versus him and like breaking him down, going past him? I mean, these had to be thoughts. Butterflies the night before.
I'm gonna tell you something that's really crazy, and you ain't gonna believe it. So the night before this game, all my cousins was in town for the game. Like my family was there. I had like a nice house. Everybody was staying in my house. The night before this game, me and all my cousins was upstairs listening to instrumentals on the computer freestyling. Like we was all just in there rapping. Like we was just rapping to each other the night before the game. And I went to sleep and went to shoot around. It was just
loose, free.
I was very loose.
Yeah.
I remember like us being in the room, my brother like, you need to go to sleep. Like your first game tomorrow. And I literally left them in there.
Man, look at your rapport, man. Like the way you talking in the interview, I can feel it. You don't strike me as a rookie in this video.
I look like one.
Literally, people know. Like people have no idea this dude the night before the game was freestyling all night with his homie.
For real.
Has rap always been a thing? That's
always. I always did music. After the game was over, I came out the locker room. My agent, like I got basically three agents. They all work for the same agency, but Aaron Goodwin is my main agent. So my guy, Nate Jones, I come out of the locker room, they waiting for me. They're like, man, great game. Like, that's a historic game. You did this. Isaiah Thomas, they telling me all these stats. And I turned to Nate and I was like, hey, like, I could really rap, bro. I said that to him and he was like, not another NBA rapper.
That's the problem,
like,
the stereotype.
Yeah, he like, not another NBA rapper. I'm like, no, but I could really rap. Like, I was writing last night and they like, you just had the greatest like rookie debut and you want to talk about like music. I'm like,
really
bro,
rap.
I really rap. He bring that up to me to this day. Like, bro, you just had this game and you want to talk about some music.
And when did the name D.O.L.L.A come about? Did you always, that's been like a childhood thing?
My college
so that's
roommates used to call me that.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Not even related to rap. That was just like a...
I mean, they would call me D.O.L.L.A all the time. Like, everybody on the team, they'd be like, D.O.L.L.A.
What's that
D.O.L.A.
from?
It just go with Dame, I guess.
Dame
They
D.O.L.L.A.
all said it. So many people have been calling me that. I wanted to make that like my rap name. I just turned it into an acronym because I didn't want it to just be, you know, some surface level name.
Right. Because now, I mean, that's universal now.
Yeah.
We got you on State Farm commercials.
It's everywhere now. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
I remember where I was watching this game. This was game 6.
Yeah, this game 6. It was that wasn't even a play. I actually broke the play.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I was about to ask because when I watched this clip, you could see for you trying to pretend like you're not even, and then you break off. You caught Chandler by surprise.
I'm sleeping. The play was for L.A. to get a back screen and try to throw a lob over the top. They wanted us all lifted so it would be nobody helping on the backside.
Trying to go for the tie, beat him in overtime.
Go for the tie. But when we walked on the court, Mo Williams was like, man, go get the fucking ball.
Really?
Mo Williams like, go get, I'm like, I don't want to break the play.
They messed up communication too, by the way. I think they were supposed to switch. It's like, I don't understand that till this day why they just didn't switch. It was guard on guard on guard.
That's what really made me just take off like that because they was asking each other like,
oh, so you heard
do you want to switch this? Do you want to switch it? He was like, no, you just stay there. And he was explaining to him like, we should just switch it and you can just take who go high. And as they was talking, I was just watching.
You took
the ref.
off.
And as soon as the ref handed him the ball, I just took off.
Pinned down, 4 or 5 feet behind the line. You're drifting left. Chandler's 6'8" in the peripheral. First time this franchise has won a playoff series and God knows when.
Like 60, it was like
probably since like Rasheed and them in there. Yeah,
99, 15 years.
Pippen, Rasheed Wallace days, man. Bonzi Wells.
Yeah, it was 15 years before that.
My goodness. I mean, that's a historical shot.
Yeah, it was crazy how it happened because that was not the play. Like I remember in the huddle when he drew that play up, Mo Williams, he was just like, "Go get the ball. Like you got to go get the ball."
So you already had in mind, like, I'm gonna do my own thing.
I was kind of going back and forth. Like I didn't want to break the play.
That's what I'm saying.
And
like,
then mess up the play.
And you playing with a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, a vet. The play's drawn up for a guy that we've already seen had moments of him hitting big shots. You're a rookie. Or no, you're not a rookie here. This is what your second year. Second year. So you're a sophomore campaign. You coming off a down screen, breaking the play, drifting left 3, 4, 5 feet behind the line.
I mean, it was just, I don't know. I think it had turned into that because my first year, I was always asking for the ball at the end of the game. Like, give me the ball, give me the ball. And I remember at one point, I just kept missing at the end of the game. So then, like, he gave it to Batum one game, then he would go to L.A. But this year, I had hit like 6
Yes,
games.
I remember that. You had one in Detroit. You had one in Cleveland.
I had a bunch. I had one against the Raptors. I had a bunch of just game-winning shots this season. So it pretty much
became a thing.
Yeah. Like even on the team, they would just know. Like
that's why Mo was like, "Go get the ball."
Exactly.
They already knew what it was.
Will Barton used to always be like, "Man, go get the ball, man."
The Baltimore accent.
Yeah. Get the ball.
You got G's. You
what you got to do.
You know what, man? This clip is played all the time. I don't think people understand I don't want to call it insanity. I don't know what you want to call it, bro. To pull this type of shot. Bro, that shot is, Paul George is not wrong, dog.
He's not.
This shot right here, you are a 5 feet off a sidestep. He has no idea you're going to shoot this ball. You could tell, man. He even talked about it, I think, recently on a pod. He was like, I saw him, I'm looking at the clock. Paul's saying he's looking at the clock the other side. He's like, what is he got? Is he going to go to the basket? Or it's a tie game. You don't need a 3.
No.
Let me ask you, from somebody who's hit so many game winners, before we play this, is it easier when it's tied or when you're down 1 or 2 when you know you have to score, otherwise you lose? When it's like a free, worst case scenario here, you lose, you miss a shot, you go to overtime.
It's always easier when it's a tie game. Especially when you're at home. Like, most of the time, you're going to win this game at home. You go to overtime.
But do you ever imagine that this shot, I mean, look at this, bro. If you missed this, people would have been like, the hell is he doing? Cantor don't even know what's going on.
I mean, I also have 50 points. So I was like, I wasn't thinking about if I don't.
Yeah, now you already,
I'm like
50 on the board.
I didn't hit up so many threes at this point. In this series, I hit a bunch of deep threes like that. I think I hit like double-digit deep threes like that.
Bro, to pull that off a sidestep, though.
My brother again right there.
That's an amazing clip, man, having your family right there.
My sister right there.
Oh, so that was your brother and sister sitting there right there courtside when you hit that shot. Yeah. You got that framed in the house anywhere, man?
Yep.
There's got to be a photo of that somewhere.
Show in the house.
It's interesting. You can see Seth.
That's my brother and sister right there.
Right here.
My brother.
Look, he got the arm up. Baya. Seth talking to the other bench. He already knew it was going to go down, too. He was telling him, you want to pull it?
Seth was killing that year.
That was his coming out party.
Y'all
played Golden State next, right?
Right after that. Yeah. No, we played Golden State in the conference finals. We played Denver after this. We beat Denver in 7 games after this.
Wow.
This was a good run.
I mean, that might be the baddest game winner in probably NBA playoff history.
Yeah, that was a good one.
A walk-off, and then you gave him the wave goodbye.
And I wasn't even planned.
There was something special with you and Russ. I mean, everybody has like a guy. I always watch, like, there's certain stars who go at each other. Yeah. You and Russ always had some type of popcorn action going on. Where did that come from? That just too.
Man, honestly,
it's a sign of respect, though.
It is, because I got it. I respect him a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it started just out of, like, I know my trainer, Phil, when he left Weber State, he did, I think he did like 1 year in the G League with Oklahoma City. And I think it might have been my rookie year. He was in Oklahoma City. And, the G League, they help out during camp. They help out sometimes rebounding or whatever. And he said him and Russ, they would talk sometimes. And, Russ was like, he put together that we was at Weber together.
Yeah.
That was my guy. And he used to be telling me, like, Russ would be like, I know that's your guy. Like, I like his game, but I'm going to bust his ass. Like, he can.
True Russ
you know,
True
he can't
Russ
fuck with
fashion.
me. Yeah, like, so he used to say that to him, but he also always talked about, you know, Russ was a great dude. Like,
Right.
that's what he used to always say about Russ. And my rookie year when we would play, it just felt personal. Like, it felt like he was trying to, like, really just go at me. He'd post me up a bunch of times, shoot 28 times in the game. Like, it was like he was coming after me. And I would always give him resistance. Even from my rookie year, I would come out of there with 22 or 25. And we went back and forth. They beat us, we beat them. They beat us, but he would always just be going at me. And then, you know, I got a couple years under my belt.
It started getting a little different around there.
It started getting a little different. Like, I started actually getting the best of him a little bit, you know? So it was like, I don't say as much, he's more demonstrative. Like, my personality is different than his personality, but the level of stubbornness is very similar. So, like, I think that was kind of it. Like, people thought we ain't like each other.
Yeah,
all
from the
that type of
outside,
stuff.
I thought you guys didn't even. That's what it looks like.
Because I think there's that level of competitiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, whatever you on is what I'm gonna be on, you know? So, like, people thought it was that, but it was never like that.
Would he be, if you had to name a name?
Like, we didn't even shake hands after the game.
No, that's what I'm saying. From the outside, bro, watching it, and listen, there's like trash talk, and then there's like trash talk with body language.
Yeah.
When it looks like y'all
Like, I don't like
y'all talking some shit in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see it.
It's just that much pride.
And I can see that at the free throw line.
I know how he feel because I have that much pride.
Yeah.
To where it gets to the point where, like, I won't say a word to you. Like, but really, I don't mean nothing by it. It's just like, I'm willing to meet you wherever it's at. Like, the first time we played and shook each other's hand, he was on the Rockets, bro. Like,
Oh, so this is like
20,
years
it was
in.
like 2021. 2020, 21, I think.
Oh, that's what
2021, that season.
that was with us. That's when I played with Houston.
Yeah, we like beat y'all. I had a triple-double in Portland.
Yeah.
We won in Portland. I had a triple-double. After the game, we shook hands. That was the first time we shook hands after a game. That was like my, I don't know, that was like my 9th season, 10th season.
I'm trying to think how confused you probably were just due to the fact that on the outside, or it is the truth, Russ is like a really nice guy. He's like a sweetheart, man. Like, if you meet him off the court, you're like, this is the nicest dude I've ever met. But when he gets on the court, he morphs into like this different personality, bro. He's got like
a competitor.
Yeah, he's totally different person. And it looked like from the outside that y'all two used to, would you say he was like the guy that you probably had the most battles with, or Kai, or Steph?
Definitely Russ. I would say Steph because I've played more playoff series against Steph, and obviously being in the West, we played against each other all of those times. We play them in the preseason. Like, I've seen a lot of both of them, but I played Steph in more playoff series. But I would say, as far as it being personal, it was more me against Russ. With Steph, it's always like he took off, and I was like, I'm chasing. I want what he has. You know, he's winning the championship. Everybody's talking about what he's doing. So, like, I was very competitive with Steph, you know, like, especially in those years where I'm like, no, I can do that too.
Yeah,
you know?
because your games are very similar, man. You're the only two that like have that style of game. We'll get that in a second, but I can imagine, especially with him being in your hometown too.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some games with you pulling up. You know, you've had, I think you had a 50-point game there one time.
I've had some big games.
Big games. Steph was a standard, but Russ was the guy that you personally would go at.
Like, our stuff was more of like just like a real battle, you know.
Russell Westbrook, Stephen Curry. Look at the names I'm saying, bro. Did you ever think these are your peers?
Yeah.
And not just guys that you playing against and like you have memories. You know how those guys will post clips like, you know, when someone retires, they'll post a clip of them guarding. You're like, man, that's like a preseason game. You know what I mean?
Them, barely played them.
Yeah, you know.
Picture from
This
long
is
time. Like, we've been in the
league.
league the same. Like, this is my 13th season. We've been playing each other like this for this whole time. So,
how much has the league changed?
It's changed a lot. Like, you know, when we came in the league, Grant Hill and Jason Kidd was still playing.
Yeah.
Like, they were starting. Kurt Thomas was playing. Kenyon Martin. Amari Stoudemire. Like, it was like, when I see some of these dudes now, they're like older men, you know. They pushing 50.
Yep.
They were still in the league and playing. So, like, the locker room was like that. Like, I played with Jared Jeffries.
Grown man.
And, you know, Ronnie Price, Sasha Pavlik, like, dudes that are like real vets.
Yeah.
And I think because it was like more just men in the locker room, it was a different league. Now it's just more of a kids league.
Is it an extension? It's like a super D1 college.
Yeah. It's
I
like
mean, what we got going on right now.
yeah, for real.
This game, 55. I hate that I have to do this to myself. This was we won this game, thankfully. I called this the game that ended this team, because I think at this point you had expensed every ounce of energy a star could possibly have put into a team. I mean, this performance. Look at that shot, bro. 4 or 5 feet behind the line, you're launching it. Look, this where I'm thanking God you missed this shot, man. I mean, this is you had 50, 55 this game.
Yeah.
The overtime shot that you made, I think it's off the spin move when you hit at the top of the key.
Yeah. Go to second overtime.
Bro,
I think.
you were on some shit, man.
I mean, I really was just like, if we can get this like to where we eliminate them in Portland, this shit is over. Like, if we win this game, we finishing y'all in 6.
Yeah, it would have been
Either team is getting finished in 6 games after this.
That was like a meme that I got dealt with for the next year because I
I
was
saw
praying
it for a long time.
Yeah, I was praying to God that you missed a shot, bro. At one point, you made like 9 in a row. One of them you even
everything,
banked.
bro. I know, the real deep when I threw it up there.
You threw it hit the top of the glass, top of the key. Is that when you have it going like that? It just feels like and I know like basket gets big, but it's just like
Everything is going in, bro. Like, and then it's also when you're making all those shots, like, who cares if you miss?
right. You got the
Like,
you got the
people
green
are
light.
gonna be like, oh, they want you to keep.
Yeah,
making. So when
they
you
get mad if
miss-
someone else shoots at that
Exactly.
point. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
This is speaking of which, we get to this right here. 71 points, man. And this is what teams scored in the 90s for a full game. And I call this is what end of the era, Damian Lillard?
this is close to the end of the year.
I mean, this was your last year playing with him?
Yeah.
Going into this year, I mean, your mindset probably it had to be different. I mean, you don't have a roster that screams playoffs or champion, but you're a loyal guy. We talked about it earlier. You had the same trainer, the same people around you this entire time.
Yeah.
How do you approach a season like this? Because you're such a guy, like you said, it's all personal for you. You want to win.
I mean, this year I was coming off injury. The year before I missed games because I had surgery. And that was the first year in my career that I didn't play a lot of games. So I had the whole year to train. So I had everything together. It was real similar to how this past summer was for me, with like how my whole team was connected, with like from nutrition to speed and agility, strength and conditioning, basketball, PT, everything was all connected like this. When I came back, I actually felt good about our team. Like we got Jeremy, we had Josh Hart, we had GP2, we had Ant, we had Nurk, Justice Winslow. Like I liked what we had. Like,
So you felt like you had enough to compete?
yeah, I felt like we can compete. Like we can get in the playoffs and we can make something shake.
This right here, man. Stutter. That's like the. Did you have that in high school? That's like the patented.
Yeah, just you make the defender sit down. They think you're going to attack, you raise up.
What made you want to go left? Because you're strong left as a right-handed guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have a burst. You had a burst going both ways, but you pushing off going to that left hand. You're probably the quickest guy I've ever guarded going that direction. Who's a right-handed player?
I think it's just growing up. My dad was always like, "You need to be able to go left," because I used to be strong right hand. Like I say till I was in like 7th grade. I was a strong right-handed player until like 7th grade. And I started working on my left hand so much. Like I remember I had a milk crate at my grandparents' house nailed to a telephone pole. I used to shoot so many left-hand pull-up jumpers on that milk crate.
For real?
Like
A milk crate on a telephone pole.
Yeah. Like no backboard, nothing, just like I used to shoot so many like left-hand pull-up jumpers on there that my left hand just got crazy. Like I started doing it better than my right.
Good God, the Rockets, man. This was that Rockets year where they They're throwing anybody out there. I don't even know what this is. This is insane, though. 71 points, man.
Yeah, if I would have, I should have went for more. Once it got to the end, I just kind of.
Good God, bro. You're pulling these. I mean, people don't. The NBA threes are already so far. You see most top scorers, even guys who could shoot. A guy like CJ, their threes hug that line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Klay Thompson's a great shooter, but he shoots around the line. Like, you were one of the few that was able to pull it off the dribble. Look at this, coming back. Don't shoot a lot of middies, though.
Not
that you
much. I
can.
used to shoot more.
So if you could add one part of your game, what would it be?
I mean, I'd just say like on the post. Not necessarily just backing somebody down, but just playing from the post.
Did you ever tap in with Chauncey on that? Because he's a guy that kind of
did
had a little
some.
bit of that.
We did some.
He played in that era where you kind of had to have your back towards the basket. Andre Miller.
Me and him definitely spent some time doing some of that stuff.
You have one of the coldest step backs I've seen, and it's because you don't create that much space, bro. It's like just a quick stutter step.
I just need to get the defender to not be in my face.
But you're unique in the fact that you go either way. Yeah. I've seen you shoot game winners off the right side, but your patented step back is to the left, right? This was my favorite. This is opening night, right?
Yep.
Crazy work. Right hand, left hand, doesn't matter. This one, bro, that
He fouled me too on that.
on the hand too, on the arm, right?
That would have killed y'all if they would have called that foul.
We stopped playing. There was like 6 seconds after that for us to shoot a game winner. We were so deflated by that three that I ended up shooting the game winner. I shot like, remember, I got the ball there. It was my time.
Just threw it up there.
It didn't go in though. You had some monster games in L.A., man. You know, it's funny, man, because I'm watching these clips, right? And I'm trying to come up with a player comp for this, because that's part of this show. What we do is we try to grab players that, you know, you might have taken something from. Yeah. Brother, there's nobody, when it came to you and Steph, bro, like there's I don't know a player before you that played like this. You know what I mean? Like the deep threes, the off the dribble, bro, you shoot 3-pointers like mid-range jump shots. Like these are tough, full speed fadeaways. You're off balance. You're usually never straight up. I mean, look at this sidestep three.
You know who I took a lot of stuff from that he doesn't play exactly how I play, but I took a lot of like my quick to get a pull-up jumper off is Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he's like the Steph before Steph, right?
Just because if you go watch him off the dribble, you'll see a lot of that.
What made you tap into that?
Because an OG that I know, you know, like just back in the day was talking about, he used to always talk about how he didn't think Shaq was the best player on his team in college. And he used to always talk about Chris Jackson. That was his name before. And from the moment he showed me his clips,
yeah,
and he used to be pulling up, he was like, you know, showing me the clips against Jordan and Stockton and all of these Hall of Famers that he played against. And after that, I just couldn't stop watching. Like just the pull-up jumpers, like that quick raise.
Yeah, because that's the part that it most impresses. People don't understand the ball handling part's one aspect, but to dribble and get into your shot and not fumble the ball and have that placement, you do it quicker than I think I've seen.
Get it off, whether they're close to you, not close.
Interested to see. You can see the.
You know who else too is Gilbert Arenas. He was when I was in high school, he was my favorite player, bro.
So we got him up here. This is who I had. I'm looking through it. I'm like, yeah, they don't play alike. Obviously, he had that run. You know, you've done it your whole career. Yeah. Gilbert only had the Wizards years for like a couple before it just went to shit. But he had those years with the Wizards, man, where this dude was one of the baddest scorers on the planet. And it was the way he was able to play off the dribble from deep. I mean, bro, this is like, you know, quick raise. He was strong. Big body guard.
I used to play in his shoes.
Oh,
I was like,
you wanted to be like, yeah.
I loved Gilbert Arenas.
Same, bro. Gilbert was, DC Gilbert was one of the most electrifying scorers.
But I knew he was nice. See that? He got drafted by the Warriors.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah.
I was at the game. I was at one game. I don't even know if you could probably find the clips. I was at a game. He wasn't getting no burn. And they played against the Pacers, and he played that night, and he was killing.
For real.
Killing. And from that point on, that was when I was like, he athletic, he can shoot, he crafty, he's strong. Like out of all the guards, I feel like I'm the most like Gilbert Arenas.
See, like that right there is what I get the comparison with you. Is that quick raise? It's like it's not even a half a second, man. He was one of the first players I saw be able to shoot off the dribble 2-3 feet behind the line consistently, especially down the
right there.
stretch.
Look, Indy.
Oh, this the game.
Yep.
That's crazy. I'm glad that we teed that up perfectly.
Yeah, he was. I remember it was Indy because I'm like, he killing.
Cold down the stretch too.
Yep.
I totally forgot that this was he was drafted by Golden State. Didn't play a lot.
He was there like 2 years.
And then he started cooking towards the end of there, and that's what got the DC opportunity.
Yeah, and then they didn't pay him.
All he had was Bron in his way. Bron been in everybody's way for about 20 years now. That's the call. That's one of the calls when he turn away halfway through the shot.
He was cold-blooded. Signature shoe.
Signature shoe. Speaking of which, man, congrats on that, bro. What's this been? This is 12 years now. I'm an Adidas player, man. So shout out to Adidas one time. That's the brand.
Adidas, baby. Shout out.
No, that's the family. You know, I'm an
nice shoe.
Adidas athlete, but you're a signature series player. You know what I mean? They only do that with. You talking about? We came in as Rose, carried it for a long time.
I wore D Roses my first year.
Same, yeah. Back then, you only had like 3 shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like off the
a lot.
quarter shell toes. You know, that's all we had. Now you got all this stuff going on, but it was you carried it, and then now, you know, we're hoping for Ant to be that next guy to carry the brand.
Yep.
But you had the best basketball sneakers that you could wear for Adidas for like, man, a 7-8 year run, bro.
It lasted a little minute. Shit, I'm on my 10th shoe coming up.
10th shoe.
My 9th one just dropped, but we in the process of the 10th. Yeah.
Of the 10th shoe. Yeah. Is that where you think you'll go as long as? Because I'm sure after basketball you might even do stuff off the court or.
I mean, you never know. Like the shoe game changed so much, you just don't know. But we'll see.
And you could probably have a signature series that goes on.
Even you just start doing like retro. You start bringing
that's what I'm
back
saying.
the
Like
first ones.
they could release those forever.
Yeah.
Which were the ones that were like cut in half, the color towards the back?
Oh, that was the 6.
Yeah,
that was a lot of people like that.
Those were my favorite days probably that I wore. You know, we talk about the different phases of your life. We going through it right now. We get to these goals, man. Like you're a guy, you know, you've made what 7 All-NBA.
7 All-NBA.
8-time All-Star.
Yep.
You know, you got the max contracts. You got, you know, generational wealth for your kids, for your family. All-Star MVP, Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
Bro, like the list is nuts, man.
Yeah.
When you start putting this, even one of those things, bro, if I got 1 year at All-NBA, that'd have been like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you did this 7 times, bro. The obvious answer is what's next? What's missing? And that's a ring, right?
Yeah.
What do you feel, you know, needs to be done this year for you guys to have a chance, you know, a competitive chance, you know, and I'd start with you and Giannis.
I think the number one thing is we just got to be healthy. Like even last year, you know, people talked a lot about us not looking how they wanted us to look or how they expected us to look, but if we would have been healthy, I still would have went into the playoffs. Like we can put it together and win it.
Right.
I really thought that. But I think with me and him, it just was a matter of us getting to know each other as men. You know, a lot of times people like they need to work out together and all of that, but really, like he is who he is as a player. I am who I am as a player. But
so you don't feel like you need to work out?
I mean, we can. I think it is always helpful, you know, when you do that. But I'm saying for me and him, like I know how to play the game. He knows how to play the game, but I think it's a matter of trust. Like he wants to be dominant and do what he does. I want to be dominant and do what I do. But we got to trust that we both want that for each other, you know?
So it can coexist.
Yeah, like if I'm bringing the ball up, he got to trust. You can run, I'm going to get it to you. If you set the screen and your man step up, I'm gonna hit you in the pocket.
Because you two, it's different. It's not like Chris Middleton and Brooke or Bobby. These are guys who obviously it's still catered all around him. He's never played with a player your caliber. Even Drew. Drew's a big time guard. Drew's not a 7-time All NBA, 8-time All Star, man. You know what I mean? Drew's good at a lot of different things. I think in some facts his simplicity might have helped
It made
Giannis because Drew don't care if he averages 8 points, 10 points. Drew's going to get a rebound, and if Giannis is clapping for it, he just throws it and kind of... Right. Last year for Boston, Drew's in the dunker spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're a guy averaging 30 points a game. It's a different ball club.
Right.
It was a big adjustment for both of you, especially with you going to a whole new environment.
Right. And that was a big thing, too. But I think what it really comes down to is just sacrifice, because it is me and Giannis, but we're surrounded by very good players.
Yeah.
So I think the reality of it is we got to be healthy, and we just got to be connected. We just can't have our own ideas of what it looks like for us to win. It just got to be, how do we win? And however that is, we just got to be okay with it, And that's really what it comes down to.
Would you want to do more pick and roll stuff with him, or because you guys' games are polar opposites, man? It'd be easier if Giannis was a big man and it's like Tyrese Maxey, right? He plays with Joel Embiid, but he's a center. So at the end of the day, they pick and he's rolling. He's in the post. It's very simplified. Kobe Shaq, Penny Shaq. It's easier when it's he's
it's
avatar
center point, and now this is more like forward point.
And he wants the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
So it's different. I started trying to dig into some clips. I saw this play right here where you set the back screen on him where he could get that run and start, little nuanced plays like this.
That wasn't even a play. I just did that.
Oh, so you just did that off read. You just went and
did that. But I think we got to have more stuff like that, whereas my man is going to hug me because they know I'll pop and I'll get a 3. But if I set that screen, Steph is a great screener, and people always end up wide open because they're going to hug his body. So I think it has to be more stuff like that. Me and him, we just got to play for each other,
That's because I'm watching games. I started going through y'all's best games. Y'all had 78 last year combined in Dallas. But a lot of times, even this, man, just a quick, simple pick and roll coming off. The big is not going to be up as much because he's worried about
roll with
Giannis, man. You know what I mean? His distraction means so much, especially someone like you. You only need half an inch.
Yeah.
You're a double drag god.
Yeah.
That's always been the case.
I love a double drag.
Look, I even got it on the board over here. A little double drag set. Good gosh, man. I'm really excited, man, for this year. This is. It was very unfair, the criticism that y'all got last year as a whole. You guys weren't healthy most of the year. You had a whole lot of stuff going on. Not to mention you get traded right before the season starts at a weird time. 2 different coaches. That's a lot to weigh in on, and for a team to just be expected to click on all cylinders. Y'all now have a full camp. We're out here in Newport.
Yeah. It's never fair though.
Facts.
It's never fair, and that's okay.
I like that.
I think considering all of that stuff, you just got to keep perspective on what the truth is, And I've always had people around me saying, don't listen to the loudest voices, listen to the truest ones. So that means you got to be able to see what the truth is. So people said everything they said about us, and Dame needs to do this, but I averaged 25 points and 7 assists. Considering everything else, that's still what I did.
Some crazy numbers.
Giannis still had a career year by the numbers, and we was a 2 seed the entire season until the very last game of the season. So if you listen to what everybody else was saying, it sounded like we was a 7 seed.
Yep.
We didn't win no games. It just didn't look how they wanted it to look. But the truth is, look what we did even when we were trying to figure it out, and we weren't at our best. So, we just got to, like I said, we just got to be healthy. We got to be for each other. And we do that.
I love when Giannis plays the dunker spot with you, man. Because he's so used to having the ball. When he doesn't have it, he can't be around the perimeter because he's not a shooter. Him playing this spot right here, the little Aaron Gordon area.
Yeah. He can dominate that area.
So this is one of the last questions I have for you. Is it a championship or bust year? Like, is it like, and I hate putting that question out there because it's like, Giannis talked about that, I think after a post game last year. He's like, do you consider everything a failure if you don't win? Yeah. You know what I mean? There's so many different.
I agree with what he said though, you know, like, because I'm a journey guy. Like, I think I look at it all as a journey. Like, you know, you just gotta keep going. Like, you never know. I always look at like the years that Steve Nash won MVP. You know, he was in his 30s, you know, going up mid 30s. I look at when Dirk won it, you know, it was unexpected. You just never know, you know what I'm saying? So Golden State, they win the 3 chips, then they like don't even make the playoffs, and then they come back, they beat Boston, you know? So you just never know when the time is gonna come. But you gotta appreciate, you know, everything that goes into when it does happen, you know? So for me, I do think it's like, the only thing we plan for is to win the championship. Right, so if we don't, we came up short. But I don't like the saying championship or bust, because we could have a great season. We could have a great season and anything could happen. Right. So I wouldn't say that. I just think anything short of a championship wouldn't be what y'all set out to do. Because there's like coming up short.
6-7 teams in the NBA that realistically have a chance of winning. Everyone says they want to win, right? But there's like 5-6 teams.
I would say 5.
Yeah, maybe.
There's some that people think they can do it, but they don't have that in. Right. They're not going into it really about that, you know. Right. And for you, you know, and I asked this already, you know, what's left for you? But is that what's left on the list? Like, listen, you're in year 13. Yeah.
I mean, you're knocking on the door. You know what I mean? That doesn't have anything to do with your style of play. You're still one of the best. You're a starting point guard in the NBA last year.
I could play a long time.
Yeah, but just like, it's a lot on your body.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is when you have kids.
Yep.
And, you know, 13 seasons, you spend a lot of time away from your family.
Yep.
Like, people don't realize how much time, like, it takes to be an NBA player. You know, especially early in your career. Later, when you have more control over stuff, it's different. But, you know, it's a job you have to play on the road. You have to be at practice. You have to do these things. And it's just like, at what point is it like, all right, you know, I'm giving my everything to this game and then my family get what's left. When is it going to switch, you know? But none of us play this game at this stage of our career for money. Like, we not playing to get all-star nods. We not playing to be famous. Like, we playing to win.
Yeah.
Like, that's really all we have to play for. And for me, that's the only thing I haven't accomplished.
Right. So that's
being in the league. So that's literally the only thing that I have to play for. Like,
is it like, you know how you said it's easier to play when it's tied at the end of the game, a game winner? Does that like release some type of freedom in you? You're like, bro, I don't have financial stress. Yeah. I don't have accolade stress. Fame, like, bro, you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. Yeah. Anything you want to be a part of, people are going to be like, Dame wants to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, does that create a type of freedom in you where you're like, man, same with Giannis. It's like, bro, and Giannis has won already, but still, like,
he already won.
That he's said that publicly. He's like, I got one already. Like that, that's all you got.
It's hard to fight that.
Yeah.
You know, so it makes it's probably harder for him. Like, you want to win, but like, you've won already.
Yep.
So that's like a battle in itself. Like, you got to fight to do it again, even though like nobody's saying he hasn't won. You won.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like, man, you free yourself of all the other stuff. Like, I've knocked out everything else.
Yeah.
Now it's just like my only investment into the game is to win. So why would I not show up to practice and show up in shape and do all of this stuff that's gonna give me my best chance at this point?
How many more years do you want to play? Or it's all a feeling thing. You'll know when you'll know.
It's all feeling.
Because you're in a position where you're gonna get to walk away from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of us, you just don't get the call no more. You know what I mean? Did they call you back? They said they're not interested. Like, you're gonna call a team like, hey, I'm walking away.
Right.
And that's not even something that's even in your spectrum, right? You're 33, 34?
34. I mean, I definitely don't see myself as somebody that's just hanging on. I know that I'll be able to play till I'm 39, 40. Like, I could play and be a starter until that point, especially with the way the game is. You're starting to see players playing longer and longer. CP, Bron. Like, you're starting to see them, and like, they may not be who they were at 26.
No, but they
still top of the line players. Because I take care of myself. Like, I don't live a hard life. Like, I prepare. I know how to get myself ready.
Yeah.
So I could play, but it's like, like I said before, I love my kids. I love my family. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see myself being somebody that's just hanging on to the game because of what it brings to me, or so people can still see me like I love the game, but it's other things that are more important in life. At some point, you gotta let go. So I think it'll happen, and like you said, it'll be on my terms.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to first off say I appreciate you coming through, man.
For sure.
This has been it's surreal for me. You know, we've been creating this show for a long time, putting this in the works, and we wanted to start off with somebody that I had a high respect for. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anybody who knows me when I talk basketball, there's only a few names that I put on the list of guys that I guarded, that I played against. So I'm like, man, this dude is just better, bro. Like, this guy's fucking incredible. You're one of those dudes, bro.
Appreciate that,
yeah. Bro. And there's I'm talking about 3 or 4 people on that list, bro. Yeah. So just to see your growth, man, over the years, and more impressively, you've been able to sustain that and then even level up. At some point, I'm like, yo, this dude keeps getting better, bro. That's been great to see. Obviously, you got your kids now. You're a vet. Like, you're a true, real vet. You walk around like, you know what I mean?
Like, they literally was calling me that in the locker room my last year in Portland. They was calling me for real. And that was 2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago.
So it's
you in the teens now. You're 13, man.
All-Star game, I was the oldest player in the East locker room.
Oh, wow.
By a long shot. Like, I think Giannis was the closest to me.
Damn.
Like, Giannis is 29. I was 33 at that time.
Bro, it's going by
Everybody
so
else
quick,
was 24,
man.
25, 26. Like,
the next time we'll be battling will be when we're watching our kids play against each other. That's the goal. They gonna hoop?
I think my daughter gonna be the one I'm behind, because she's a goer.
You already see it. You feel it.
I see it.
Because that's how it is. There's that one kid in your family that, and you want the best for all of them, right? But there's that one you're just like, there's something. He has it.
Nah, my daughter, she's 3, and she can dribble 2 balls.
Oh, she on it already.
She runs, she jumps, she do gymnastics, she can swim, she fast.
Girl dad.
My daughter is probably gonna be. So I don't know about our sons playing against each other.
No, man, mine in the gym. I already got they ain't got no choice. You want a snack? We gotta go dribble. You want to watch a TV show? You want to watch Paw Patrol? We gotta get out there and make 10 shots.
I'm a weak sports dad. My son be like, I don't want to shoot. I be like, all right.
That's tough though, because you don't want to force it. Because if they might not like it.
He like my oldest. He'll do it when he see how much his sister's doing it. He'll come join.
So that's big.
She can't do something that I'm not doing. But when I get up in the morning and I'm going to my gym at my house, and they about to eat breakfast, she'll be like, "Daddy, I'm coming to the gym with you."
I'm about to say you got the sports complex at the crib, man. You built everything out there. Just got done. You got the gym in there. They can go right in there after breakfast. Just get some hoops in.
But she want to go.
She want to go.
Like, they want to watch.
How's that feel?
Dinosaurs and all that, but she want to be there.
When you see them want to do it, that's when it means something.
It make me get ready to make my investment. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do it, I'm going to get you right. Like, I know the answers. So we going to do it. And I'm going to keep encouraging it. I'm going to keep bringing you to it. And we going to go.
And my kids are my retirement plan, bro. They got to make the league, bro.
That's hilarious.
That way I can keep this lifestyle up. You hear me?
You see how it's going now. We can, you know a lot of people. You've been around. You did it yourself. You did it yourself. Hey.
Oh, man.
What I do know is I'm using my resources.
You have to.
To give my kids every opportunity.
Especially as a father.
Yeah.
We do see it now.
Every opportunity.
That's real, man. Yeah, that's real.
So.
Anything you want to say to the people of just Milwaukee? What to expect this year? We talked before we even got on here. You said I'm coming different this year. They got to be ready to go, because last year I don't like the way how it sat with me.
Yeah, I mean that's really it. I don't like to boast and announce shit. Where it's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Right.
But one thing I can say is, like, this year is gonna be just like from an investment standpoint and like a focus, and what I'm gonna be putting into it is gonna be, I know it'll be a better year. For our team and for me individually, we just got to stay healthy.
I can tell you as a hoop fan, that's music to our ears, bro. And you obviously had a big year last year. You started in the All-Star game for people who aren't aware, but for you.
Shit, I was MVP though.
Yeah, All-Star MVP. When you were an MVP of the All-Star game, they talking about it being a down year. That's when you know what type of standard you set for yourself. But that's a sign of respect, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
They hold you to a high regard, man. But again, appreciate you coming through, man. We're excited for this year.
Yeah, for sure.
And you were a great guest, so thank you again.
Appreciate it, bro.